All
That was really weird.
right.
Um, hopefully those people. There's a couple of people in the chat room before they. Hopefully they come back, but yeah. So not only did they create a remake, but they're going in depth now, even more so on like all the characters. Granted for like the anime, they're doing this integrate thing, and they're trying to figure out how to like make Vincent like not just some random optional character or
Got rid of
something, but they're putting him
got rid
into
of
the
Casey.
story and stuff. So like, yeah, it's really nice that they've really embraced like the best series, regardless if you hate Final Fantasy VII or not, because some people think it's overrated, which we'll talk about in the community question. But some people think it's overrated, but regardless, it's still a popular franchise. It's still a popular part of the series, and people want more of it. It's like never ending for some reason.
I feel like if you play any RPG, you're going to hear Final Fantasy VII. Like even if you recently started, you know the name Final Fantasy. It's like one of those what is it? Those ghost stories. You're like, ooh, Final Fantasy VII. He's like, what? What's that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, like man car hook hand doorman or some shit
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
yeah, like the hang slinging slasher. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those
Ash
things.
slinging slasher.
Slasher, hang slinging. But it's one of those things that it's embedded in like the culture of not even the culture, just in the genre of RPG. Like it's like a staple. It's like a if it's a tier list, it would be must play at any age, and it's like everything else is just like decent. But I'm excited for the Final Fantasy 14 one because 14 was not saying like I don't like 7. 14 was my favorite because that was the first Final Fantasy I ever beat by myself without like having to play through or watching
14,
somebody do it.
14 is
No,
the
14
online
14
one.
MMO. Which one
14's
did you mean?
online.
You mean
Oh,
15?
Yeah. You're
15,
talking about
15.
15.
Sorry, I,
Okay.
15.
Yeah,
I
okay.
thought 15. Oh, I thought it was 15. Then never mind. But
Yeah. And they made a movie. They did the same thing with 15, but they made a movie
Yeah,
that
was
that
it
Kingslave.
made
Kingslave? Yeah.
Kingslave.
yeah,
Hey,
and you
thanks,
kind of had
Yomikoto.
the
Yeah.
yeah,
that was the part of the problem people have with 15 is that some of the storyline that was involved in it, you kind of had to watch that in order to fully
hmm
understand.
yep,
Wasn't
And that
Kingslave like a prequel though?
It
yeah, it
was.
was.
It was
It
a
was
prequel.
just
It was his
it was just to
dad's
explain
trek.
them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
it was ass. And then they made another one, but I I'm excited to see for the MMO. Like I want to get back into playing that. We'll see, but 7 definitely, and that Kingdom Hearts it's a must. I'm definitely gonna keep my eye out for that.
You know what's
Bro.
strange about Final Fantasy 15 is that it was a great game, but and trying to reflect to any other characters in any other Final Fantasy game, and no character has gone in depth as much as like the characters in like 7, maybe 8. But like
Yeah.
7, like they just go deep into a lot of like just not just Cloud, but Tifa's childhood and background, Vincent and his experiments and things like that, and like him like
hmm
if you could remember, like with Vincent, he was a subject to a lot of experiments by Hojo. And then if you have Vincent in the party when you're fighting Hojo in that boss battle, like you get a whole nother like character development thing because he's like happy that he finally killed this guy. I mean, who else? Like you even get a freaking character development for Kate Sith, which is a fucking stuffed animal robot thingy, but he's like remotely controlled by somebody else, and like I don't know. It's just it's a very different thing.
And
Yeah,
you gotta realize, that it's not unlike your Kingdom Hearts. All this is not done. All this is
Convoluted.
done in the base game.
Oh
It's
yeah, no,
not.
no, 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 dude, fucking of course. No, 7 is a masterpiece because they actually did everything correctly.
Yeah,
Kingdom Hearts, it's just one big fever dream,
yeah,
honestly.
But what
It,
I
it's
want to
Yeah.
it's a
see,
very it's a very fun, like well done fever dream up until 3, but it's still a fever dream nonetheless.
I feel like Kingdom Hearts not trying to bash it. It's like a roller coaster. There's good
Bro, shit
parts.
on it all you want.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying like in a bad way because 1 and 2 was like the like two of like the two games that I've enjoyed the most. I've never
It
played
was, it
most.
was the best.
Two
yeah.
two is the best, and then some people would say 1 is the best. But personally, I played 2 first, and then I played 1. But
Play
that
one
game
and
is like
two,
a
but
roller coaster till 3, and then 3 you just drop, and you're like, what is happening? And then like
No,
the
for me, the
3
problem,
is
the
the end of the
problem,
roller coaster.
The,
Yeah,
thing,
no,
the problem with 3 is that you can eliminate 3 and the storyline was exactly the same.
yeah,
Pretty much. It was just
yeah.
closure for everything. They could have added all
There
all
was
the
no
story.
closure.
Hold
They
on,
left
no,
everything open.
dude, there is no closure at all. That's why
There's no
Melody and
closure.
Memories is out.
Well, no,
That's why it's bad.
the story still continues, but the whole thing with
No,
Xehanort and all that,
yeah,
there was
No,
closure for
no.
all that.
No, it
no,
wasn't.
no.
How do you
Wait,
not
wait,
know?
wait, wait,
There was
wait,
closure
hold,
for
no, 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 no,
Xehanort.
no, 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 no. Yes, there was definitely
The
closure for
storyline with
Xehanort.
that,
This
yeah.
is the thing. Okay,
Okay, fine.
so
Yeah.
The
what-
big bad, yeah.
in a condensed version, yes, Xehanort is
Yes.
the big bad, but
He's
he's
not.
the
He's
medium
not-
bad.
Yes,
No,
I
because
know, I
Yeah.
get that.
Zigbar is like the big bad.
I get that, but
The-
they
the
don't
master
mention
of
any of that.
masters.
But that's aside from that,
master
because
of
the
masters.
main
no,
the
of
main
course.
focus for the entire series has always been Xehanort and I forget the others X's names or whatever. Zemnis and all of them. Like they focus on those three
keep up.
those three biggest guys, and finally that storyline has closed. I understand that it still continues. There's still a lot more to the story, but at least that book is finally closed.
But it's not. That's the problem. You're gonna see that it's still open.
No,
There's still gonna be
again,
another.
Yes, you're definitely right. The Kingdom Hearts franchise is open, but what Danny is saying is that
I'm
the
talking about
Xehanort arc-
Xehanort.
No, Xehanort's done. Xehanort's done. He resigned his fucking shit. Because
Okay.
so I absolutely
I beat the game, so I know. Along
hate
with
how they
Randy.
resolved it, because it literally
But
comes down to like Ericus being like, "Yo, Tara, what's up? I was in your heart the whole time. I could have saved you from being Ansem's puppet, but I didn't. But hear me out. I wanted to get close to my friend." And then Xehanort's just like, we're dead. Let's be buddies again and just like fucking leave. Like what? after all this time, that's what you're gonna give me? That's what the fuck you're gonna give me?
Bro, they pulled the Madara.
Like that's the disrespect that you're gonna fucking give me. Like what?
If this
Wait,
is a
did you
spoiler.
say they put a Madara?
No, I'm saying they pulled the Madara because
Okay.
at the end of the war,
Yeah.
Hashirama's like, "All right, buddy, we're just gonna get out of here." Madara's like, okay, you killed my village, but okay, we're gonna get out of here. And then that's it. I'm like, oh no.
They just give each other a dap and then they leave, and everyone's like, "Wait, but what about our pain?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Or as Sora, what was it? As Goofy said, like, "Oh, the pain in your heart." I do know pain. Like Sora, shut the fuck up, please. Genuine ass line from Kingdom Hearts 3. Like,
Okay, so you're excited for that, or everybody's excited for a Kingdom Hearts series, but no one really cares so much about Final Fantasy 14, I'm assuming.
Okay, but I want to go back
I'm
real quick.
excited
Nobody gives a Final Fantasy 14.
Well, we've been
Final
touching on
Fantasy
Kingdom
14
Hearts too
start-
much.
no,
I-
here's the thing. With 14, I personally don't feel like they need an animated series because the game in of itself has so much story.
It's
But
all
if
fucking
anything-
dialogue and story.
Well, yes, but also I feel like
how
what
much
the
more
series
do you
can
need
be.
to elaborate in a series?
That's what I'm gonna get into. The series, okay, so the game obviously follows this Warrior of Light, this era's Warrior of Light, which is our character. There's a lot of side characters, or well, like main characters that I could put that in quotes, kind of, that you meet them and it's like, all right, cool, fucking, this is who I'm playing with. This is who's fighting alongside me. This is what they're doing, but we don't know about what they did. We do get some flashbacks here and there, but also like, how did the head of like the black mages get to be so powerful, whatever the case, you know? What's Jantoto's origin story? I'm curious about that.
I
Just
don't know
kind of
any
like
that shit.
no, but either way, like what I mean is that it's just kind of like filler for certain characters. If anything, hopefully that I'm hoping that's what they do. Will that be the case? I don't fucking know. But it would be nice to know more of the backstory for a lot of the characters that you encounter because there's so many. And obviously, with there being so many characters, you can't give everybody their deserved or proper amount of screen time. Not even fucking World of Warcraft could do that shit.
Yeah.
Remember that movie?
Yeah.
But that's that's the point that I was going to bring towards
Hey.
Kingdom Hearts. I know we're going back on Kingdom Hearts though, but you can't. I want to know. Yes, we all want to know more about the Masters and all that other, that storyline that's going on because that's like almost the real storyline in
Union Cross.
and yeah. But Kingdom Heart, if they do an anime or a movie or whatever show, they're not going to touch on any of that at all. They have to start from the beginning. A cartoon, I'm sorry, a brand new series is going to have to start from the start. And it's going to start from
Especially
part
if they
one.
want to get them kids
No,
involved into it.
No,
too.
and here's the thing though, because they're tying in Union Cross. Union Cross canonically is the first part. It's Union Cross, Birth by Sleep. Well, okay.
Yes,
To put the
it is.
entire thing, it's Union
I
Cross,
know.
Union
I
Cross,
know.
Dark
It might
Road,
be the
Birth by
first
Sleep,
part,
so on
but
and
you
so forth.
can't. But you can't start with that. Not if you're trying to build a franchise for people
No,
to
yeah,
watch
yes,
who
you
don't
can,
know
bro.
anything
Because
about
here's
that.
the thing. No,
Because
they're going to shut down the servers for the mobile game, so no one's going to have access to that anymore. So what they can do is kind of condense the story to what you need to know, like not the shit that your character did, because you're just a participant in the Keyblade War. All you can do is
Mhm.
focus on the 5 houses, the heads, the Master of Masters, the box, and then go onwards.
So
but they
this
but my
series,
but I, there's the
th-
thing. I don't think they will. They won't start with any of that stuff.
this
They're gonna
this
start with
series
Sword, Donald, Goofy, because
this
that's what
series
people
can
want to see.
start wherever they want to start because of the fact that it's a series. This is not a movie. They can
Yes.
go for as short or as long as they want to touch on everything. So the fact that they can easily focus on any parts of any part of the game along with still also doing their own thing. Doing whether it be flashbacks or how do you say, like quick recaps or things like that. They can do anything with the show. So I definitely see themselves doing that for at least the beginning part of the series in game format.
No, of course.
I
And the funny
again,
thing is about that is
I
that
don't think so because Donald, Goofy, all those Donald, Goofy, Sword are gonna make way more money in to begin with when it comes to toys, all that bullshit, than these fucking other people
They're
would.
still
I mean, hands
involved,
down.
so why
yes,
wouldn't you? You could still do that with, but still recapping the rest of the games.
But
Okay,
you have to. You're gonna have to. They're gonna have to start with that big money,
Kevin,
and not.
you wanted to say
yeah,
something?
yes, yeah. So I don't. Everybody here played Kingdom Hearts 3, so it's not a surprise. But I hope that with it's a movie or is it a series?
it's a series. It's
It's a
going to be a
series.
short series, but it's going to be touching on Union Cross,
And
Birth
Cross,
by Sleep,
Birth by
and
Sleep.
Kingdom Hearts 3. So it's going to cover all 3 arcs.
Okay, so I hope that they just do, and I don't know if you guys cared for much of it, but in Kingdom Hearts 3 they have like a little book that you can read, and it pretty much breaks the story down for you for each series, like
Oh, the
Birth by Sleep.
mementos.
Yeah, so the mementos. I hope that it's just like I would say 4 episodes, just like as a memento, so like it fills in 1 to 3, and then like the last 2 episodes is just like whatever they want to add for 3, since everybody already played it. But I feel like 4 episodes for each, if it's a 12 episode series, or like 8 episodes each for like if it's a 24, or I think that's no,
It's
yeah,
probably going to
24.
be like a 6 to 10 episode kind of thing, honestly.
Yeah, so even so, I hope that they just give you enough information for like Union Cross and Birth by Sleep, because those are the two main stories that you need to know
Yeah,
all these things are happening.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like and 1 to 3 is just like it's just Sora's story, so it's fine. Like I would hope for 24, like they give us 10 now, and then they give us like 14 episodes like next season if they decide to expand on it. But I love Kingdom Hearts, but the story is like it's nowhere near straightforward. It's kind of like
No.
sometimes it's convoluted. Sometimes
It's
it
Sometimes.
makes
all the
sense.
time, bro.
Yes. So it's like some of the time it's convoluted, and then sometimes it's like you can say it makes some kind of sense, but then it really doesn't. But then it makes
Yeah.
like yeah. So it's like sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. I just want them to be like to get people to understand the story of Kingdom Hearts like the way we understood it. Like kid with giant key beats up monsters, dies, comes back a monster.
I wish it was that simple.
Yeah, like
I'm
that.
gonna sit you down one fucking day, bro. But
But that's the
as a
thing.
parting
I never
statement,
knew. I went to when part 3 was coming out. I went on a rabbit hole down it because I was like, let me. I haven't played part 2 in a while. Let me, and I haven't played a lot of the fillers games they come out. Let me watch one of those videos where it like explains the story, and it had so much more that I didn't know, and I was like, holy shit, what the fuck happened to just Donald fucking
Just
shooting magic spells?
open up doors and try to find the Kingdom Hearts door and unlock it, and that was pretty much
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
that Door to
And
Darkness was never a Kingdom Hearts though. Ansem had it all wrong.
Yeah. So wait, I have a
but
question. Sorry to
but
cut you
I
off.
but I fell in love with all that extra. I wanted to know what's in the box. I wanted to know, and that's what part 3
Just
pissed me the fuck off because it didn't give you anything you wanted really. Um,
To a degree.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, but they talk about it. Like, oh, there's a box. We're looking for this
You got
box. It's like, fuck, I want to know where the box is
remember,
too. Let's
Danny.
find it.
remember, Danny, like when I beat the game, or even while I was just playing the game in general before I beat it, like I was telling
Yeah.
you how I wasn't very excited actually playing through the game, and the only reason why I was playing it because I would just want a closure because we grew up with this franchise. So I think our expectations were so high for the third game to finally come out, and it wasn't met with those expectations. So it's just kind of just like
Hmm.
meh. And
Yeah.
it kind of even like the closure that it did give, as little as it was, like it still wasn't enough.
It
Hmm.
wasn't. To me, there was no hardly any closure at all. Again, I really do feel like for the most part, you take away three, and the game and the story still continues almost
Yeah.
exactly the same. I mean, there was a they closed a few of them, but they still left
Excuse me.
everything off the way it was, and it's just for that it was really disappointing.
Alrighty. So I'm gonna put this Kingdom Hearts conversation to rest.
I was just gonna say, Randy will get the
Yeah.
last thought on this, and then we're done.
Uh, so what they do with the series, they could do whatever the hell they want. As you know, Danny said, they started the series technically on Arc 3. So Kingdom Hearts 1 is part 3 of the whole entire story. So there's like no, they should start here, they should start there. If they want to do Unicross, that's it. Any questions that we have afterwards, by all means, after the stream, we'll address that. But for now, rest of the news. I'm getting a headache talking about this shit. I love the game.
Let's get back
but-
to the news.
3 can eat ass, and
It's
I'm gonna stick to my
well,
guns.
actually, yeah. Let me stay quiet with that stuff. Anyways, I was just gonna say, like, there's a lot of explaining with Kingdom Hearts. I understand the stress with that stuff, so
Yeah,
we can go on in circles.
The story, like I do kind of get a lot of the plot points, but to sit down and say it, it's not going to be like, oh yeah, I'll tell you in like 30 fucking minutes or like
Yeah.
15 minutes. No, it's going to be a whole 2 hours. We're gonna have a lot of drinks.
Yeah, yeah.
All
right,
be
so-
all out of salsa water.
So we're gonna go on to the final article. I think it'll be pretty short, but we'll see. Free Radical Design is finally coming back to make a TimeSplitters game. So one hasn't come out since 2005, and has people. There's definitely have been people who've been asking for a sequel since then. So who remembers TimeSplitters, and do you have any expectations for the sequel? Kevin, you haven't spoken in a while.
What? I was talking earlier.
Kevin hasn't been picked the first one in a while.
Oh yeah. So I'm excited. I haven't played Time Crisis since like I would say then.
Splitters, time splitters.
Yeah, sorry, I said Time
What?
Crisis.
What?
Time
Time Crisis.
He's about to stab me. So I haven't played Time Splitters in a while, like a real long while, and it's like that's like what 15, 16 years ago when the game came out. I probably played in like 2008, 2007. I don't really remember it as well. That's the problem. Like that's the whole thing. I played it. I definitely remember playing it, but I can't remember like the game itself. But I'm excited. Every time a new game comes out for a franchise, I'm excited for it. Except for if it's Duke Nukem. But
Oh,
we're not
man.
gonna talk about that. We're not gonna talk about
Yeah.
that. I'm
Well, the
excited for
difference
it.
between TimeSplitters is that, like, I'm sure now that they're developing the game now, whereas Duke Nukem, they developed that game through three generations of systems, and they kept on changing like game engines and developers and directors, and just it was a whole big mess. So that's why it came out the way it did. But also, like, for those who had never played TimeSplitters, it was like a first-person shooter, big action. It never took itself seriously because there was a lot of silly moments. I don't remember the story much either.
Yeah.
It was
That's
campy too, but like I don't remember the story much. If anybody remembers the story, please let me know. But like, because it's been so long, but it was still a fun game.
Yeah, I remember the character. One of the characters being like super like goofy and like a jokester, and I was like, oh, I can relate to this. But there's murder in this game. I'm not allowed to play murderous game. So that's why when I remember me seeing it, I was like, oh, they're making another one. I was like, oh, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm happy. Makes me happy.
Danny?
Makes me smile.
Danny, what about you?
Exactly with the question.
What do you think of the TimeSplitters coming back, the game?
I never played this, so I don't know.
You didn't? I could have swore we played it together before.
No, I played the Perfect Dark and the Golden Eye. All that
Oh
bullshit.
yeah, well that's different. I could have sworn we
But I
did.
haven't played that.
Yeah. All right. So what
I
about
already
Randy
have
then?
nothing with the side way.
I never played Time Splitters. I used to see
Oh.
ads in it in the magazine. Which one in particular? I don't remember which one it was. but I would see ads like constantly, just like one page where this dude was jumping through a portal. If I'm not mistaken, isn't it kind of like one of those cult games that like people really, really liked, but it was still like a select few, but it was enough to like make it well known?
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah. I don't know. I never saw footage of it. I've never taken the time to like look it up. I'm pretty sure it's a game that I would enjoy, mainly because like I'm mentally stuck in like the fucking PlayStation 2 era and shit. But I mean, hopefully it sticks to what the originals were, and I'll probably end up emulating the TimeSplitters games,
The old ones.
like before it comes out. That way, like I could see what it's like for comparison's sake. But going back to Duke Nukem for like a split second,
Yeah.
the game was really pretty, even though it played like shit. Anyways, go
Oh
on.
yeah, yeah. It looked great, but yeah,
It was
the whole thing,
gorgeous, dude.
the gameplay and the story and the dialogue, it was all just shit. But with the game itself, I was just gonna say, I'm sure they're gonna release either remasters or just the original game in general, like on the PlayStation Store, as soon as they announce that they're developing, like officially developing the game, and everything goes, further down the development map, whatever you want to call it. So you'll get your opportunity to play the originals, I'm sure. So finally, we're gonna go down to the community question, which we should have talked about last week. So we're gonna talk about this week, and I gave the show an extra week just because I didn't post it up on social media for anybody else to participate. And sadly,
again this
there's
week.
only there's only one person who sorry, I gotta find it now, who participated in it. I do not want to switch accounts. So last week's community question, we asked, what franchise or game do you find that's overrated? Does anyone want to start first? Kevin,
Kingdom Hearts.
is that for real on your list?
No.
I wasn't even gonna fight you on that either, because like, dude, just
That's the
I
same
love the
thing.
game, but that fucking
That's the
story.
same thing if you guys had said Destiny. Like, to be honest, I get why people wouldn't like Destiny.
To say
Destiny's a good game.
overrated. Let me see. I don't want to be boring and say Call of Duty because everybody says that game is overrated.
That's
I
funny. That was
I
actually gonna be my
lie.
choice.
And by the
thought
way,
about-
I'm sorry, but by the way, you since we have a little bit of extra time, we can pick two.
Okay, so right now I would say I would say 2K, NBA 2K, overrated as hell. It
Really?
doesn't matter. Yeah, I find that game so overrated because it's literally, for me, it's like a copy and paste, update stats, transfer to the next game. I feel like it's like, even if you like add like different things, that game feels so like repetitive. Like I've never seen a game that's repetitive, and then it just keep getting thrown out every so often. And my second game would be, I'm not gonna say all of Kingdom Hearts, but Kingdom Hearts 3 was extremely overrated. Like it by far like one of the most biggest letdown I've ever experienced. It was almost as bad for me as the Duke Nukem thing, but it was bad. Like the story was passable. I'm not, and it's not me coming at Randy. It's literally just how I personally felt about the game.
Dude,
It's like,
the fact that you picked 3, like I totally agree with you. Like had you said 2, then I would have fought with you.
bro, first of all, you're
off
my Kingdom
camera.
Hearts 2 brother. You're definitely my Kingdom Hearts 2 brother. Like,
Yeah,
for real.
but
So,
2 was peak. 3,
Two-
it wasn't worth the wait at all. So I like
It-
100% agree with you. I
Yeah, and-
fucking hated it. The only good part was the ending, Monsters Inc. and Toy Story.
nah, my
I
favorite part is
missed
the
the
credits.
order. It's Toy Story, the ending, and Monsters Inc.
By
I
far,
like
mine's is-
I like the Toy Story part a lot. Actually, I had
Toy
a lot
Story
of
was
fun.
amazing.
Can I tell you what
Yeah.
my favorite part is? The credits.
Just the room when you first.
Just them rolling and be like, yeah, I did it. Like, yeah, Call of 2K and Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
3,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, 3.
Okay, so what about you, Randy?
I'm gonna like slightly touch on the whole Toy Story thing because I know that like Danny wanted to say something about that too. Just for like a brief minute, if anything, the Toy Story level did what Kingdom Hearts 2 did as an entirety, where it had its own individual story that was the movie with Kingdom Hearts, not like how to put it. It meshed it well as opposed to the Frozen level, which was the movie featuring
Oh
Sora
my
Dog and
god!
Goofy.
And that was the worst.
It felt
Yeah, you're right.
that was the most
The
forced
Frozen,
part.
it was so forced.
You were
Tell
actually the one that told me that they postponed the game a bit to put the Frozen level into
Yeah.
it. No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did.
Anyways,
Granted,
Frozen was the
that-
reason why it was delayed.
that will be the scene I show my kids when I want them to play and give them the video game. So,
hey, you like Frozen? Watch this.
watch this. You want to play? Keep going.
For overrated, I'm definitely gonna have to say Call of Duty because that one's like a fucking carbon copy all the time. It's
Yeah.
boring.
I agree. I don't understand how people keep playing these fucking games. It's the same thing. It's like playing PvP just over and over and over and over and over and over and over. I mean, the storyline is like 2 hours long, and then
Murder everyone, die. You know what I mean? Like I get it. For me personally, the only reason I play Call of Duty, it's because of zombies, and I love the story of just zombies itself. I don't even like the Call of Duty. It's like the multiplayer, whatever. Zombie has such a like embedded story into my soul that I have to play every iteration of it, even if it's bad. So that's the reason I let that slide. But Call of Duty is bad. Like I can agree with that. I definitely agree.
And I guess for individuality's sake, Overwatch.
Never played it.
Even if it's not a thing that like people still like talk about now, when it did come out,
It's
it
still a
was...
big PvP game.
Oh well, I mean, I figured as much. Like I haven't played it for the past, I'd say like 4, almost 5 years. Oh, I got a burp. Sorry. So yeah, like at the time, it was still very overrated. The fact that it come out with the sequel, like, first off, you don't fucking need Overwatch 2. That's literally making League of Legends 2. Like, just make new characters, add it to the same fucking base game. That's it. Like, you're done.
Okay, wait. I have to defend them with this part. So you have to keep in mind, though, there are a lot of things about Overwatch 1 that, begin to get old, stale, obsolete, whatever you want to call it. And they want to change things up. And I get that a lot of people could just say that you want to just throw a new skin in, like not literally like a character skin, but like a new fresh paint on the game. It's not that simple to do, especially when you want to change so much about the game, because they're also adding a big story, single player story mode into the game. So there's a lot of stuff that they have to change, along with the how do you say the game engine and everything like that. So making a sequel actually benefits them more, mostly just so they can start fresh from scratch in order to make the game more stable, as opposed to like throwing in a bunch of new features and stuff and then having to fix everything and patch everything over and over and over again. And I bring that up because Destiny actually did have the same issue with that, which is the reason why they released the part 2, is because they did Destiny 1 for 3 years. We still connected here?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Destiny went on. The first Destiny went on for 3 years, and Bungie had a really hard time making content because their game engine that they were using was really broken. On top of that, they were still trying to catch up with everything that they had lost, which is story-wise, writing-wise, dialogue-wise, all that stuff, because they had a bunch of issues before the game even released. So making it part 2, they made they didn't make a new engine, but they used a new engine in order to relearn it and make a better working game. So making a sequel was the best option in order to make a better version of the game that they wanted to make.
Okay.
And I can see that they're doing the same concept for Overwatch too, because it needs that. It's only so much you can do with that fucking first game. That's why I stopped playing it, because it became super repetitive. And I didn't get, like, I agree that it's overrated as well. I mean, I didn't get the big hype about it. Even you gotta play it so far. I'm like, no,
I loved it.
I played an hour. I'm good.
Yeah.
But after an hour, you get the same shit.
My thing with that is that, like, I feel like that. I'm not saying like it's an excuse, but it sounds like an excuse, because Rainbow Six Siege is a game that everyone here can agree that game seems like there's nothing there. But they add new characters. The game seems it's the first game, so it's like if Rainbow Six Siege did it, and it's basically like a strategic Call of Duty, Like,
Mhm.
like I'm not saying it is, but I'm just saying like, but it feels like it's. And then if they can do it, then I don't know. I just felt like I agree with what Randy was saying with the adding, just add people, fix the engine. But then I agree with you guys that it's like the game itself is not. It's not the most stable, I would guess. Like
Mhm.
even if they add new characters, the game is just going to be unbalanced, and then they have to rebalance it and then fix the game. But like starting over, I just feel like that's I don't know. Like they could just make like an Overwatch Ultimate Edition or something, and then just like fix it like every other game has been doing.
And it's all about money too. On top
Yeah,
of that, it is still a business. So making a sequel will also bring a lot of money. But you do make a good point that if Rainbow Six Siege could do that, then why can't other games do it? Because Rainbow Six also makes their money out of microtransactions as well. So does Overwatch with all the freaking loot boxes they do.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know, your point of view does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
Danny,
that's just my
you want to talk about your overrated games?
My first overrated game was Red Dead. Red Dead fucking series.
Oh, that
Holy
hurt
shit.
a lot of
I
people.
I don't feel
I
pain, but like, yes, I actually do kind of agree.
I mean, when you peel that game away, it's just another fucking GTA fucking knockoff thing. You know, like to me, it's just the same fucking thing. Instead of a car, you
first of
gotta
all,
ride
you're
a
the you're
motorcycle.
So,
yeah.
so then, fair question:
Uh-huh.
would the choice is the choice necessarily Red Dead or would it be GTA?
No, I think GTA was fun for a while. I think the whole concepts behind them were good. I mean, obviously they got stale because they got saturated. The market got saturated with games like
Saints Row.
Red Dead Redemption, Red Dead and every other fucking these super open world games that are like this. I mean, it became saturated with people, but people love fucking Red Dead. I mean, Red Dead 2 came out, they made such a fucking deal about it, and then I heard nothing, absolutely nothing. So the whole concept of the cowboys part is interesting and it's fun, and that western part. But if you take that away, it's a boring game. It's a really boring game that
Mm-hmm.
with a horrible storyline that nobody can even tell you what the storyline is. Like unless you're a hardcore fanatic, but that's different. But anybody who's beat the first one won't tell you what the game's about, but people love it. I can play
Yeah.
poker. So
I could summarize Red Dead 1 in 30 seconds. Well, actually, in 5
yeah,
seconds. Bad man did things. Bad man dies. That's it.
yeah, yeah.
That's it.
So that's my first super overrated game. Um, and and the one that I know Danny's gonna truly disagree with me on is Death Strand. I think Death Strand was the most
Oh, walking
overrated
simulator.
game.
I'm not gonna fight you over that because I know that's a very specific type of niche that a lot of people can feel.
I
But
don't.
go on, go
I
on.
can't. Okay, I know you keep saying that. Oh, it's a Pacific niche. It's like no, it's
Yeah.
not. It's because it's Kojima. It has Kojima's name on it. If it did not have Kojima's name on it, this would not be a conversation because this wouldn't be a game. This would
Okay,
never have been made.
I'm gonna defend myself on that, but go on.
The game is really bad. I mean, it takes you like 8 hours or some shit to get a weapon. Like it's some like ridiculous thing to
Yeah,
actually do
yeah,
anything.
more or
And
less.
yes, that's not the main point of the game. The main point is literally to fucking deliver pizza. But like, why would you want to play? Why would you want to play a pizza delivery game? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Oh
And
my
it's pretty gorgeous,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they did a great job with the graphics, but that will never hold up. I mean, it's like playing an underwater simulator and go, "Oh, look, the water looks pretty." No, that's not what I'm.
Subnautica.
I want.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna defend
Wait,
myself
so
though about
hold on, before
Kojima
you
though.
defend yourself,
Yeah.
would you say again? You said it was pretty, but it didn't play well. Would you say it had like the Duke Nukem effect, if you will?
What?
Well, I didn't think Duke Nukem looked pretty either. I
No,
didn't think Duke Nukem was
Duke
horrible.
Nukem, it looked really
I
nice,
wouldn't.
honestly.
You did? I actually didn't
Wait,
play
okay,
it.
no,
I'm gonna
what
play
did you
it to
play it on, or
become
what
my.
did you see it
Hold
on? Because on
on, before
PC, that motherfucker
I'm gonna go to the
glitched.
bathroom. I'm gonna go to the
Yeah,
bathroom.
All right,
I played it on the
I'm
console. So I
gonna
didn't
go
play
with
it on
Kevin.
PC. So okay, you guys, holy
So
I,
fucking.
all right,
I got
so
you.
hold on, so with the whole Kojima thing, like I do, yes, it was a big deal because Kojima's name was on it, but not only because Kojima's name was on it. The thing is that Kojima's name is a big thing, so it'll draw a lot of attention to it. but that's not why the game was made. Everybody knows that Kojima makes a lot of unique gameplay styles and gameplay elements and stuff like that. So the fact that they knew that he was just gonna come out with something new and unique and different, people were willing to play it. But I feel like, this is my own opinion, I feel like if this game was made by somebody else, people will still enjoy the game for whatever reason that might be, because I completely agree that this game is not for everybody. Like this can be a very boring game. Aside from like the stealth mechanics when it comes to like fighting those ghost things, I can't remember the names of it. But the fact that Kojima's name is on it just brings more attention to it. It's not the only reason why I wanted to play the game. Like I truly feel like if Kojima's name wasn't on this and I still hear about this game, as beautiful as it looked too, on top of that, I still would have played the game. And on top of that, it had Norman Reedus as the main character. I still would have played the game without Kojima's name attached to it. And I probably still would have been disappointed, because I played the game for a good maybe 20 hours. And then I never beat the game. I played for about a good 20 hours trying, hoping that like something would pick up. I loved the story. I loved it. It was so good. But I could not get past just the walking and the walking and the walking and the walking. And then the occasional stealth mechanics when you're fighting these ghosts or trying to sneak away from the ghosts. And then also occasionally when you go through the story, you fight some bosses too, which were actually a fun part of the game, because now it turned into this action-oriented thing. But like I could not get past it. I ended up YouTubing like the rest of the story, and the story was fucking amazing. Like I wish that I got through it more.
Mm-hmm. So was it not angry people with that they didn't want to give you tips? Is that what the bosses were?
Say what?
They
were angry customers. Yeah, that was the story. Is that those ghosts were angry UPS customers? And Norman Reedus was the only one that can save the company.
You're the only one that can deliver these packages.
So,
but I truly disagree with that. I think Kojima's name pumped up this game to give it notoriety. People were excited because they saw the footage. Again, the game looks phenomenal, so there's no denying that. So if you're looking at the game and you're looking at it, and they show the one or two shots and scenes of, when he does get a gun after 10 hours of the game, they show those shots, they show the monsters, they show you sneaking away, they showed little clips and pieces of this game that could be phenomenal if it was not the game that actually came out. And then you see that, you get the hype. Oh, Kojima did it again. He's great. They got Norman Reed. He's played a character, looked just like him, whatever. You got that hype, and then people start to play it, and they finish it only because it's Kojima, and they had high hopes. Even though every single review, every single thing talked about how bad and boring the game was, but yet they
that's what does it call it? Confirmation bias, because I can guarantee you that that I'm sure that you have found plenty of reviews saying how bad it sucked, but I can also guarantee you there were a lot of reviews that I read that gave it like 8, 9, 10s.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
It was half and half
because it has Kojima's name on it. And that's it.
Because the game was still a good game. It was just a lot of people who could not do the walking sim.
If they didn't have Kojima's name on it, they would not have given it the time of the day, and they would have bombed. They would have completely bombed.
You can be excited for a game. Granted, you can be excited for a game because it has a specific name attached to it. But once you play the game, you're either going to enjoy it or you're not. It's as simple as that, regardless of whose name's attached. So you cannot tell me that IGN gave Death Stranding a 8 or 9 out of 10 just because it has Kojima's name. That's bullshit.
Of course they did, and they did the same thing for the last Metal Gear game.
Okay,
Kevin.
Hold on. Okay, so I agree with Danny on that point, that it's like Resident Evil 7.
What you're doing is calling these journalists unprofessional for rating a game just because of a name. But I'm sorry, go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah.
No, it's like just saying, like, with Drunken Guardian. Did you guys play Resident Evil 7?
Yeah.
Did you play because it was Resident Evil 7?
Yes,
Did you play it just
because it was Resident Evil or Resident Evil 7?
Just because it was Resident Evil 7 itself, just the name itself, and the people that were making the game, like Capcom. Is that the reason that you played?
No,
it?
Because
so, the better question is just Resident Evil in the
Resident Evil.
franchise.
yes,
kind of
because
thing.
it's the
Yeah,
franchise.
franchise.
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay. Did you enjoy the game as you played it? Just because it was
absolutely. Oh, because it was just Resident Evil? No, because it was a great game. I hated
Okay, but
Resident Evil
that's-
5.
What?
I love that game, but
I like that
I
one.
know it's.
I'm sorry, not Resident Evil 5, because that was the one with Chris in Africa. I'm sorry, Resident Evil
Shiva.
6.
Yeah.
I meant Resident
5
Evil
was
6.
amazing. 5 was
Sorry.
amazing.
I
Hold
read
on.
Resident
5
Evil
was
6.
fucking great.
No, Randy. I'm
But
not
what's
gonna
your
lie.
what's your
Bro,
point? What's your point,
man
Kevin?
hurt me right
But
there.
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like if it's Kojima, I'm not saying it's just the name alone. It's just, yes, it's Kojima. Yes, he basically birthed Metal Gear Solid, but I don't think people played the game and beat it just because said man's name is on it. It has to be something in the game like that they played that they're like, oh, it's enjoyable after whatever amount of hours. It's like watching a TV show and then saying, oh, after this episode it gets good. You know what I mean? It's like that that hum. Yes. Brandon?
Black Clover. You tried to fucking get me on that. So
I was
I didn't like the concept of the character because he was like annoying as shit.
I like
And then
Black
Kevin
Clover.
goes, give it like 21 episodes, then you'll enjoy it. Excuse me? Like
Give it
an episode a day, that's 3 weeks. Fuck you mean? Like no.
No, but that's what I mean. Like, it's like
I like
it's-
Black Clover. It was good.
you have to get over that hump, and not a lot of people are gonna go over that hump. Like, they're not gonna spend like the whatever amount of hours you have to get to get to the good point. You know what I mean? Like, that's
Yeah,
that's
and
the
that
thing.
that was the same issue with Death Stranding, is a lot of people couldn't get over a particular hump through the game. Like, there's a certain point in the game where it does get a bit better, but I could also understand that there's a lot of people who still can't get over the main mechanic of the game is just fucking delivering pizzas, which is essentially just walking miles and miles and miles away. But when you could look past that and you could look towards the fighting mechanics when it does actually happen, and the story mode, the story was the whole thing, because everybody knows that Kojima has a big movie is a big movie buff, so his biggest thing is like a cinematic experience. So like the story was the biggest part, and a lot of people missed out on that because they couldn't get past a particular aspect of the game.
Yeah. That's the issue. It's like it's the bump, and I guess that's where Sober Guardian felt like, bro, it's just like I don't know if you beat the game. You dropped it after a while, right? Sober Guardian.
Fuck yeah, I dropped it.
Yeah,
He dropped it in the first couple hours. He didn't even give it a chance.
Yeah,
But then I went and watched tons of video, hoping this will get better. You know, walkthroughs, skipping scenes, looking tons of stuff. Like, this
what
has to get
walkthroughs
better
are you
eventually.
looking for? It's walking from one place to another. I granted that's not the best part of the game, but the story is what kept me trying to keep going.
Yes, but for that I would just put on a fucking movie. You know, if I'm gonna play, if you're gonna play a game, you want to play a game because it's enjoyable, it's fun.
I get
if
that.
I want to
part.
watch a movie, I'm gonna watch a movie. Those are two different things. So you can't. A good game, a great game, has to have both.
I get that part. I'm not.
Game. Even some like out fucking whatever game we just talked about. That game has no story, but it has a great game mechanic that you could have fun with. So you either have to have a great game mechanic, or have both a story and a game mechanic. But games is the key word in this.
I'm not defending and I'm not arguing that aspect of it. I completely 100% agree with you on that, because whatever it is that you enjoy is what your focus is going to be on with the gaming.
Now,
whether
if they turn that into a movie,
story or gameplay,
definitely watch it.
Sure. I just got a bit. Yeah, I just got a bit like I guess offended. I guess you want to call it that, because it's not really that big a deal. But like offended at the fact that you just disrespected a lot of game journalists out there, saying that they only rated a game high because of a name. And that is 100% not the case. I can guarantee you
all the time. It happens.
That's not true, because
it happens with the Halo series. It happens with the last
that is
Metal
not
Gear
true,
series.
because
It
a
happens
game
every single
journalist
one of them
does not have a choice of what games they play. So if I was a legit game journalist, I was working for IGN right now, I don't have a choice if I get to play a Kojima game or not. They just throw it at me if I just happen to be free enough in order to play the game. So I may not be a Kojima fan and still enjoy the thing, and then rate it a 9 out of 10. So you just insulted me right now saying that like I just rated this because I'm a Kojima fan, which is bullshit. Because there's no guarantee that you can prove that that person is a Kojima fan.
It's been you can never.
You have Kojima tattooed on your butt cheek, bro.
Journalists and IGN and people and high level things of that have been known so much to get paid off by fucking people like Konami.
No.
That's
bullshit.
Been
That is
thing.
Hearsay. That is hearsay. 100% false. False.
Guys. Okay.
The ref is throwing the flag right now. We have veered off the community question very fucking hard.
I can keep on going with this. That is such. You're talking out your ass. You're so talking out your ass.
There's no way because
final statements. That's it. Final
the
statements.
The game is an extremely overrated game. It is.
Yes.
Exactly. So my point is proven as a game. The game is
no, it's not. The point that I'm trying to defend is not proven. The point that it's an overrated game, I could agree with.
Yeah, but the game and the reason why it's overrated is because Kojima's name is attached to it. Plain and simple. That's the only reason why people like the game. But
it doesn't mean it got a good score because Kojima's game is on there. I don't disagree with what you said there. It's not because it's got a good rating.
People love what he done, and will always love everything he fucking touches. If you could put out 2 more games like this, my wife's pissed at me.
You being loud?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It got really heated.
So
if Kojima put out 2 more games just like this, his name just goes down the tube. And there's no way he can, they'll ever get ratings. Even the next game that he comes out has to be a game masterpiece, not just a movie masterpiece, because of what this game did to him.
The game didn't do anything to him. He still made money. He still made a lot of money.
Of course he made money. He's Kojima. He pre-sold the fuck out of this game before.
So he has nothing to worry about with this game.
But I guarantee you,
it's not going to be a franchise.
After it came out, no, of course not. Because I guarantee you, the game bombed after it came out. The people played it, and when real reviews came out, from real fucking people. But I'll get into that later. It was not a good game, man.
Okay. So
go ahead, Kevin.
Drunken Guardian. Final statement, and I'm gonna give mine because you guys are gonna want to.
Okay, yeah, you need to let me go now. Yeah, you're gonna have to follow. You're gonna have to take over from this point.
I'm about to put a timer on. I'll give you a minute.
I'm gonna look for the Oscar song.
So final thoughts from either Kevin or Randy, whoever wants to go first, because I think me and Danny said enough.
No. So my thing is like I would have just said like I would have asked the question of would Survive been good if Kojima's name was on it? Like would they rate it good? You know what I mean? Metal Gear Survive.
They wouldn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think even if it has just the name alone, but that's what I'm saying. A name alone, it can either help or hurt it, but it's the game itself that matters. And
yes,
that's where I understand where Daniel was coming from. Like the pizza delivery aspect of the game was very not attractive, but the babies, you know what I mean? Like the babies made me like the game. Like I don't know, it's just like the weird things for me. Like it was very like I guess engaging, and then that's what made me want to watch the story. I wouldn't play the game because it's not my cup of tea, but I can definitely say I can watch somebody play this and enjoy the story with them rather than enjoy myself. Like
I would never recommend anyone to play that game.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. But final statements, Drunken Guardian, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, no, that's it. That's it with that, because I think I've said enough, and then if I keep on going, like we'll end up in that rabbit hole even more. But that like I'll just move on to my overrated games.
Wait, before you do, I just want to say one thing. So what's funny about let me ask this question. Sober Danny, did you play Metal Gear Solid 4?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
No.
Really?
I don't know. Only reason I didn't like it though is just it was a little too. It was harder than I wanted it to be.
The only question
that was
thing was difficulty, right?
Yeah, that one was a little different.
Okay, gotcha. Well, as you said that if you wanted to watch a movie, you would watch one instead. Metal Gear 4 was a movie disguised as a game.
Oh yeah.
The ending alone was an hour and a half long.
And then the after the whole, I think it was after the Ava thing, the bike portion, it was like a whole 45 minutes of like not playing the game.
Yeah.
That was the movie in of itself. So it's like I could understand points from both ends, but also like Kojima's very cinematic.
He loves his cinematic.
Even if it's like very spoofy or satirical or the case, like kind of over the top, like Revengeance was a fucking mess and a half.
Well, Revengeance wasn't his.
It
Revengeance wasn't
like
Kojima.
his because it was like left field as shit.
Revengeance was Ninja Theory.
Revengeance felt like
He didn't have his hands in that.
No, he did not at all.
So,
He looked
so
at
therefore the
the
game.
game.
So therefore the game.
He said, okay,
But if Kojima's name was on Vengeance, you guys would have liked it.
I think it still would have been rated the game that it was, which was mediocre.
No, time out. What? Oh, well, all right. Me personally, considering the fact that like I enjoy mindless shit here and there, as long as it's like fun. Revengeance was actually really fucking fun. Because it was just silly. It obviously didn't take itself seriously. Even now, knowing that Kojima wasn't involved in that, like, I would still say it's worth playing.
Which one is that? Is that the rating game?
The rating game.
It's the rating game. So I
Oh,
say
that
so.
was fun.
So I
did
say
like that.
mediocre because yes, it got decent. I wouldn't say high ratings, but it got decent ratings because of the action involved. That was the best and biggest aspect, and it's a huge exaggeration of the action. And that's what Ninja Theory is known for all their games, is the exaggeration of the action. Why I say it got mediocre reviews.
If Kojima's name was on it, it would have got much better reviews. And
No, let me finish. So the reason it got mediocre reviews was because of the story, the plot, which was almost non-existent, campy, and corny as fuck, and a lot of people didn't enjoy that part of it. So
Personally, that's why I enjoyed it.
Because of the story?
Because of how like dumb it was. That's the thing.
Yes, but that's
like,
the point.
No, yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying.
But a
like,
lot of people
that's
didn't
what I
enjoy
enjoyed
that
it, 'cause of
aspect.
How campy it was.
A lot of people didn't enjoy that aspect, which is why it got like 7 8s.
Yeah, because they're expecting the whole like Metal Gear, liquid, like that type of shit. Like no,
Yeah. So that's
but the Metal Gear series is a little bit different from the Death Stranding aspect because there's already been established, and you want to know what's going on with these characters you're gonna play, and even if it's not, even if it's 45 minutes or whatever, so if it's just a movie, you want it. You're already involved.
That is also
no, of course it is an established franchise, but also had it not been an established franchise, if it was just like a kind of one-off thing, it would still kind of be the same thing, because Death Stranding has a similar vein of like being very story heavy, the same way that every other fucking Metal Gear game was.
Well, we can
It's
say
different, but it's a little different because again, Death Stranding had no game. I'm sorry, there was no game. It was a great story, and everybody loves the story, and you guys keep saying that over and over. But there was no fucking game. Nobody liked the game. Nobody wanted to walk pizza fucking across. But Metal Gear did at the end of the day. Yes,
we can say
cinema things, but it did have the same old sneaking around, killing people, fucking doing all that crazy shit.
We can say what ifs about the Revengeance game, but the fact that it's still an established franchise is a big reason why a lot of people were had their eyes on the game. Reason being is regardless of how you like the game or not, or even if you knew what the game was going to be about, people were still excited because Raiden was a big fan favorite once 4 came out. Like Raiden was the most hated character when in part 2.
Like him in 2.
Nobody. All right, so I'm gonna make another good point because Raiden was a decent character. He was an okay character. He was a green, very like what do you call those people? Like those fresh, a newbie type characters, a newbie soldier. You know what I mean? In part 2, but people were pissed at Raiden because people had the expectations of always playing as Snake throughout the entire game. So just because of that alone, people hated Raiden. But once Raiden became a fucking badass ninja in part 4, people wanted more of Raiden. So
once he started breakdancing,
they wanted to understand. They wanted to understand how he ended up that way. What motivated him to do this stuff? What has he been doing for these couple of years since part 2? So there was a character development that people wanted to see, which is why they did Revengeance afterwards. So Revengeance did well because it was an established franchise.
Not only that, it wasn't made by Ninja Theory. It was made by Platinum Games that made Bayonetta. So
Fuck.
that also
Yes,
could be
you're right.
So that can also be a reason. Not agreeing with Danny, but they established themselves with Bayonetta, and Bayonetta is a a
high
masterpiece
action
of the
game.
High action.
They also did Vanquish. Let's not sleep on that.
Yeah.
Vanquish
was awesome.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there we go.
So they're established. Like that's probably why the game. Not only the fact that it's Metal Gear, also that it's Platinum Games that did like 2 previous bangers for like the system.
Platinum does a lot of like high octane kind of shit.
Yeah,
a lot of high energy games. I swear, but yes, that was.
Sorry, I was probably picturing Ninja Theory because they also did the that stupid ass Metroid game for
Other M.
Wii U, was it, or Wii? One of those games.
Metroid Other M, where Samus was a lapdog essentially.
It was not fun.
So before we go down that rabbit hole, meaning before I go down that rabbit hole, let's go for your overrated picks. How about that?
Yeah, because what we were supposed to do for the past 30 minutes, but okay. So the first one for me is actually the Halo franchise. I'm not crazy about the Halo franchise. I do appreciate Bungie's initial game mechanics of the dual wielding, because that's not something that you had seen much or at all actually in any video game, like the optional dual wielding of different guns. So that was a great introduction in the franchise, but the rest of the game, when it comes to like story wise and the character development and the basic core gameplay, I wasn't that crazy about it. It was a typical first person military combat shooter, sci-fi setting, and the story even to this day had never really grasped me that much. Did it ever get to anybody?
I think, but the thing, the beauty of that game, the reason why I don't agree with you, is that it recreated the genre of first person in space. I mean, there were no good games like that. Every other first person game at that time was Call of Duty type, army first shooters, more serious type games. And this was the first space game, sci-fi, crazy weapons things that came out. There was no game like it. And it established itself not because of the great storyline, but because of the game, of what it was and how it played. It wasn't 100% just your average first-person shooter game. It really wasn't. I mean, there was a lot of new to it that people loved. And then as they kept going, they created their multiplayer, and their multiplayer was absolutely phenomenal, where it created a huge, even bigger fan base off the multiplayer than the actual game itself.
Mm-hmm.
So
the multiplayer is a big deal.
Disagree.
The multiplayer is a big deal, but for me, it's no different than Call of Duty, where you release a new multiplayer version every year and it's the same fucking game. So every iteration of Halo is the same thing to me when it comes to the multiplayer.
But it's not like they're releasing one every year. Halo, they've only released like 3 actual games, or something that one.
There's 5 games.
There's 1 or 2 I would consider a Halo game.
From Bungie itself was 1, 2, 3.
It was 1, 2, and 3. And that, ODST also?
They did ODST and Reach, didn't they?
Yeah.
No, I thought that was just the original trilogy. That was it.
They didn't do Reach?
I don't think so. I could be wrong.
But either way, besides 3, I really don't remember.
So aside from the core games, I mean, there's also spin-offs like those RTS games that was released as well.
War sucked.
Yeah, and I really wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling any of the gameplay or the story at all of any of it.
For me personally, on that opinion, I'm like half in, half out, right? So they did actually publish ODST and Reach.
Okay.
The initial trilogy, ODST and Reach, I did really enjoy. Wars, not so much. But the rest of the series, I don't like how they continued it, because even then, wasn't Bungie's initial idea to finish it off at 3?
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea.
No, I remember there was.
So they were still continued to make more games, like Microsoft told them to make more games?
No. 343 is the one that, at 3, it was supposed to be the end of Master Chief, but 343 decided to like pick up and just kind of go with it. So at that point, they just wanted to like beat the fucking horse, like, even though it was way fucking dead.
Yeah.
So you could feel that from the rest of the franchise, because personally I don't like those. I'll still replay the rest of them. Is there anything special to it? Definitely not. If anything, it's just like the alien weapons that are good. But again,
But
I do agree with you. I
I don't think
disagree,
there
but
would be.
it's
I don't
fine.
think there would be a Mass Effect of the ones for Halo.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't think there'd be a lot of those sci-fi shooter games, sci-fi games like that we have now if it wasn't for Halo, and Halo paved the way. Yes, they did fucking saturate their content towards the end, but they developed a lot of innovative things, like again the multiplayer, the concept of what they did. Everything is unique, and they did the best of it, and people try to copy it basically.
Mhm.
And to this day, if you play a sci-fi game shooter in a game, they're gonna compare it to Halo. So you can't really say it's overrated when it was just valid. Now saying that the last one, whatever the last few games they came out were good, then that yeah, those are overrated. You can't say those are good because they're
Yeah.
not. You know.
But so my thing is I grew up with, I would just say, Halo 2, and I don't, it's just nostalgia. So that game I can play it, but I truly don't feel like it's one of those like you can play it now and be like, damn, I remember this and it's so amazing, this and the third. Like it does, it like it's like you said, it paved the way for like other space games. But like to say that it's overrated, I don't know. I just it's hard to, you know what I mean? It's hard to say that specifically with like what it did different at the time. Like it did the needle gun, it did the rocket launcher, it did the hijacking vehicles. I didn't even know about
It did
hijacking.
it did the
It,
grenade, the
it
sticky
did
grenades,
the
like
sticky grenade. It did a lot of things that a lot of games weren't doing at the
grenade
time.
bouncing
And
off the wall to hit the
but
guy
like,
behind you.
but I'm guessing like if you compare it to games now, it's like I would just say
It
1, 2,
did
3.
teabagging.
It did. It did dual
It
wielding.
did.
You can literally pick up another pistol. I
Yeah.
didn't even know. I
The
didn't
dual
even know what that
wielding
was.
thing was a unique thing to me.
I didn't know
Yeah.
what the name was, so I'll just call it the Lara Croft and the Tomb Raider, and I'll just run around with dual pistols. It was like the best thing ever. I don't know.
I don't know.
I can agree with it. Oh, well, I can understand it, but I don't know if I can agree with it. That's the thing. Agree to disagree. Agree to disagree.
And what's-
So my second one, I think Randy will hate me a little bit for this one. We're still picking on Randy here, apparently. Monster Hunter.
Which one?
Any of them, the
you know what?
franchise in general.
I agree.
Ooh,
I agree.
So
I
okay,
agree.
I almost picked that, but I didn't feel like fighting with people.
hear me
But I
out.
ended
Hear
up
me
fighting
out.
with people.
But you sure? Because you picked that Stranding and you definitely fought with Danny.
My bro right here.
So hear me out a bit first. I do play the game with Randy and Kevin, maybe like every other weekend or something like that. I do play the game. I have played quite a few of the games before, and that's mostly because there's not like I usually play these games mostly because I either want to play with somebody else, like it's more of the social aspect of it, or because I really don't have anything else to play. And I'm not saying the game is bad. The game is the game franchise is good, especially the concept of it. It bothers me to have any game in general, not just Monster Hunter, to spend so much time for grinding for like armor and weapons and stuff like that. For the gameplay, for me, not to change so drastically. You know what I mean? Like not much of the core gameplay of the series changes that much once you like acquire like the best armor and weapons and things like that. And a lot of the new iterations of the game, whether it be when you played for the DS or the Wii or it wasn't 64, but for the Switch or
PSP.
whatever it may be, PSP as well. They haven't changed too much. Even World,
No.
like the core gameplay, like it really didn't change that much. So I've played the same game in several different iterations for several different systems, and it's not that big of a deal for me. I would really want to hear Randy's part.
Yeah. All right. So I agree with you because the grind is very tedious, right?
Mm-hmm.
For example, on the Switch, I've been hunting like 6 fucking Chameleos trying to get one fucking tail. And it took me forever because I finally got one. Now I switched over to the Insect Clave. Anyhow, I understand the whole, again, grinding thing, but in terms of you saying that they didn't do much with it,
Mm-hmm.
they did and they didn't. So the basis was always kill X, get Y, make Z, right?
Hmm.
That's just Monster Hunter in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
But based on which one you do play, they do change certain things. Monster Hunter World, as much as I fucking detest that one because it was so like I don't know, it was
It
just
was
like the worst.
Americanized version.
It was very Americanized. I
Yeah.
fucking hated that one. They added the grappling claw, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's that. In the DS versions, you were able to mount your monsters. That's totally fine. But based on which ones you played, they did add and take away certain things. I think it was either for Ultimate or Generations, which is cross. Pardon me. Oh shit, jeez. They added these kind of like skills to the bottom screen that you could like press them, and you had three slots. Either you could have three one slots, or a single three slot, or a two slot and a one slot, based on how like whatever build up you wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you would press on them, and they would like do certain things, or you could have like certain key bindings to that on like on your DS. Big fucking deal.
Hmm.
Some of them are better than others. I'm not gonna like say that they aren't. Some of them have way better. Oh, for a good example though, try for the Wii. They had water
Sure.
combat, which not any other fucking Monster Hunter game has done, and
Yeah.
Try did it extremely well. But I'm pretty sure that the community wanted to bitch and moan about that and say we don't like this shit, so we don't want it back.
Why
They
do you
have
think that is?
experimented. Because okay, first off, underwater levels have like this really stupid notoriety of just being very tedious, even
Slow.
though they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
You know.
It in Monster Hunter Tri, the combat felt very fluid underwater. As a hammer user, which is the slowest fucking weapon in the game, it was wonderful. My brother used the lance, which with that you could basically turn yourself into a fucking living torpedo that could cut things. There's no issue with that. It's all about understanding the mechanics. It all comes down to like either you're a dumbass or you're not.
Yeah.
That's basically it. With
I
sorry, go on.
no. I was gonna say, like I feel like, and I haven't played any Monster Hunter except for World and Rise, but playing Rise, like playing the two of them, it felt so weird because Rise for me felt like so slow, like extremely slow for no reason, even though it looked very pretty. And Rise, the reason I enjoyed it is because you have a mount. So like in World, I believe you can get a mount. Like you can mount a monster, but it's like a specific thing that you have to do. And this one, you just get like a
Yeah,
full
it,
mount. I love traveling fast. Basically, it doesn't have to be fast travel, but I do like traveling faster, like on an animal or anything, and that's what I enjoy about it. I don't know if they did that in every other.
no, because mounting monsters wasn't until the DS, because you couldn't do that in the Wii. When it came to riding them, that's actually for this one specifically in Rise, because before it was just like, oh, stab, 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 and then you do like a finisher, big fucking deal. Rise is the most mobile fucking game that they've done. Funnily enough, though, for every single iteration of like a handheld version of theirs for the DS and the Switch, they I guess like Nintendo just handles the Monster Hunter franchise way better because Sony does it okay.
Not
When
great.
they had it on the PSP, it was magnificent. When they bought it over to the to fucking the PlayStation or whatever the case, I know Capcom still has their hands in it, obvious fucking Lee.
Hmm.
But with World, they fucked it up entirely. Rise is honestly the most like you have so much fucking free range of movement. It's wonderful. But I would also like to have the skills that they had in some of the DS games. Is it overrated? Yes, again, the grind is super fucking annoying. I get that. But you got to find the era that suits you best. And that does sound kind of annoying, but also there's so many games in the franchise that there definitely is a preference when it comes down to it.
Hmm.
Because
But
personally, for me, if I could go back to just any solid fucking thing, I don't care about mounting monsters. Give me the fucking underwater combat again. Because when it came to being on ground, that's every other fucking game. But the fact that you could do so many things, it not just on like an X and Y axis, but to give yourself a whole fucking 360 range of motion in every fucking angle,
Yeah.
it was magnificent.
So for Danny, I want to hear Danny's opinion on it because I know you don't really play those games, but why is the
I
reason why
played.
you don't? Well,
I
like I
played
mean
some
like
of them.
traditionally, like you don't search, you don't go
No,
for buying this game. So like
because
why?
because of the simple fact that How many games are there? Like 10 or something? Like there's
Oh
a shitload of these, right?
boy, there
cute.
is way more.
Okay, but from beginning to the one that you play now, it all has this. It's all the same fucking game. You grind, you kill a monster, you bring it back, you make a weapon that looks exactly the same. Like it's all the same fucking thing. You
Yeah,
don't
no,
that
and I'm not saying
game's
anything
point.
against that.
So
I agree with
the
that.
whole point of what we all agreed that 2K7 and Call of Duty and all these games are all overrated because they're all the same fucking game. They slapped with a new fresh paint coat of paint on it for no reason. It's why they're overrated, and this is the same exact reason.
Yeah, no,
They
totally, of course. But also,
the
it
only
comes
reason
down to
I
what you
wanted
prefer
the
to
only reason
play.
I really played the world version because that looked and felt like it was going to be a little different, a little more grandiose of what the game was. Turned out not to be as great, but that's what I had originally thought. So that's why I chose to play that one at the time. Um, Overall, the game, every single one that comes out is always exactly the same. And yes, I don't like the grind of those games, and the same reason why I can't do World of Warcraft, and it's hard for me to do Final Fantasy 14 still, is because the grind of those games are really hard. But even if I did have the time and I put it into that, I don't feel like I accomplish anything after you come out the grind. At least if Final Fantasy or those MMOs, if you put that grind into, you're doing it to finish a mission or finish a quest. You have a greater goal that makes you feel like you're stronger. And this, it just feels very repetitive, and you're just going to be doing it for no reason almost. And that's why I don't like them. And then and people like it because it was the first one when it first came out was phenomenal and nothing like it. And of course, yes, this is great, and they should be make more games like it. But they needed to add more, like your water world. You know, they needed to add more concepts like that, flying, whatever. They needed to put way more than just have a new game and go, now you can ride a little mount. They don't do anything, but you can ride and go faster. And then that game, oh well, you can do a grappling hook. They don't do anything, but you got a grappling hook. Like that's it feels like that's all they did for each and every new game. They added something small and minute to make it go, oh, this is why this is part 2 or part 19 and a half.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely. And again, like I don't disagree with any of this. I understand why like it does seem overrated, but also as we have mentioned the other titles, it most of it is mainly because it's some shit that we personally don't like play or like agree to or whatever the case. Call of Duty, fucking hate it. 2K, fuck that shit. Monster Hunter, even if you hate it, it tickles that little part of my brain that's like, yo, just keep on playing. Like, you know, you could do one more hunt or whatever the case. It's all about what the hell you want. Yeah, because one thing I did actually enjoy that they did with World, the best thing I think that they did was showing the damage that you did with the actual numbers going on per hit. So with that, it helped you understand the weapon better, as in like
Yeah,
what frames were
yeah.
active, which ones weren't. So that's the only thing I appreciated with World,
But I
and they
kind of,
kept on going with that.
but I actually kind of like cause I like the fact that you would attack the monsters. I don't know if you're actually doing damage to them or not because you're fighting a giant fucking monster with a little sword. Maybe you're not. You shouldn't be doing as
Well,
much
you had to be
damage.
observant of the monster's habits and
Exactly.
yeah.
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 No, and it was more of like a kind of quality of life thing. Like it made it a lot easier for you because back then, like it all came down to you playing the game, knowing how much damage you did, knowing what elemental damage you did, memorizing these numbers, what parts were weak to certain things, and again, once you know everything that you could possibly do, it gets a lot easier. But not everyone is going to be suited to taking the time to kind of like understand these numbers and the animations and all these other things. For Monster Hunter, Jesus fucking Christ, I am like all over that like flies on shit.
Hmm.
But
Okay,
you might
so
not
there's
be, and everyone else might not be, and
Go
that's
ahead.
totally fine.
Go ahead, Kevin.
okay. So I'm just going to add. It was a previous statement that was mentioned. I love fact checking. There are 28 games. There's 26
Wow.
Oh my god.
if you include Monster Hunter 4 because it was released on, I cannot remember if it was on PlayStation 3, and then there was a DS release. So it is,
Jesus.
and Monster
Yeah.
Hunter
At
Story is the
least
20th game.
26 games.
At
Oh,
least 26, 25 if you include
stories are
Story.
like the weird ones personally. But
Yeah,
funnily enough, they
Story.
have like an MMO version, MHO, Monster Hunter Online.
Yeah, and they also have a
Yeah.
mobile game. So just
Yeah.
wanted to let you guys know as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Stories is the 25th game. Sorry, 26 game. But there you go,
Alright.
28 games.
So-
You want
But that's why I agree with Danny with like this is an overrated game because how can you have 26 games and not it'll be that much more innovative from like the first
Well,
two or three, you know? Like
in that own defense, I'm pretty sure you could play like the first original Monster Hunter compared to now, and you can see a
yeah, you
clear
could be-
A
difference.
very steady evolution on
Yeah.
that. Definitely.
I don't know. I
So-
don't think you would see not 25 game evolution. Like you would
No,
see
because the thing is
from
that
part
they
one
do
and part
minor
4 of
changes.
Halo.
I feel like the Monster Hunter game itself, it's just like some of them are trial and error. Like let's see if this works. Like let's see if the underwater works.
Yeah.
And then they don't like the underwater. Let's do mountain. And then it's like the mountain doesn't work. Let's do fucking butt pirates. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
it's always the game. That's why I feel like the game is so different. And I'm like I enjoy the game, but I can't say like it's like, I don't know. I feel like playing it for a while. It's like one of those things that's like you can enjoy it. But how much can you enjoy it if it's because it feels very repetitive until you get like later on, like Randy said that you like become fucking big brain and like all the monsters are smooth brain and they don't know what's going on. Like it's more like a knowledgeable thing. You have to be more informed than everything, your opponent basically. So it's like you have to do a lot of research on your enemy and then figure out all that stuff. But again, I agree with Sober Garden with it's 26 games, and then it's like some of them feel the same, and then some of them don't feel the same. And but it's a slight difference. It's not a drastic difference like I'm gonna take a shot later. I'm gonna take a shot, but I'm gonna have to video like Dragon Ball. It's like every Dragon Ball Budokai game felt the same, but there was a slight difference. Like you felt like there was a slight difference, like the clashing and all that stuff. Like that you could say like that game drastically changed. Unless you played every iteration of Monster Hunter, you won't know the difference, and that's the thing that a lot of people like. I wouldn't understand. Like I don't know if Sober Guardian understands that there's a lot of difference in like the games you've played, and
But
the ones
and that also
Okay,
but
hold
that also
on.
goes to, like,
I want to cut it off here because we're not gonna have too much time left because we're done with that.
All right, you said you want to cut it off here because then I cut off.
We're getting
cut off.
What?
distracted.
What do you mean? No.
No, your
I
mic
just mean I want to.
me off a bit.
I just want to mean I want to move on from this because I want to read the person here who took the time to leave a comment for the community question, and then we're just gonna move on to the guess the game so we can just finish this up because we're probably gonna hit 3 hours if we keep on going any further.
Gotcha.
So HR Berto 13 he mentioned that one of his games he only mentions one. The overrated game is Street Fighter V. So I really want to hear about Kevin's thought of this because he says where four had done great and brought into new gen consoles, 5 felt very rushed and hold on. Let me read the rest of this. 5 felt very rushed and like it forced the season pass and buy characters instead of unlocking them. It wasn't as fun as 4 and felt meh.
All right,
Need to
so
buy a
HR
story,
Berto, you are definitely correct with that one. The game was extremely rushed. It was hella rushed. The online was terrible when it first came out. The game was not great when it first came out. Saying it's overrated, I can agree. 4 was amazing. They had a vast variety in genre. I mean, vast variety of character selection. 5 felt like it was favorites, and then they were like, "Oh, we're gonna add characters that've never been in the series." But then we get Balrog, we get Gil, we get fucking Oni. I'm like, you giving us characters we've already seen. Like, stop saying you're gonna bring like every one character that we know. Then you can bring 6 that we don't know, and then it's like 6 that we don't know. But I'm like, nah, get out of here with that. I agree. The game is overrated. It feels more slow, but it's like. It's its own thing. Like I try not to like 4, but I enjoy it. I enjoy it with
Street
like,
Fighter 4?
Street Fighter 5.
Oh, 5.
I enjoy with hard quotations. I can play like maybe 2 sessions, 3 sessions, and then I'm off the game. I can't do it. The system it's too different from what I'm used to, and then it's like it's compared to 4. It's not great. Not at all.
Danny, anything for you?
I never played it. I actually have it. I bought it and then never actually played it.
Oh,
I
so you
love
never
part
played it.
4. Yeah, I love part 4, and I had a lot of fun with part 4, and I was pretty good with my
That's right.
I'm trying to
never
remember who you
mind.
played with. I couldn't remember.
Oh, I'm sorry, Blanca and Guile.
Okay.
Of course.
But I, again, my headset keeps dying.
Oh, hello.
Danny, you there? Did we lose
Yeah,
Danny?
I'm there.
Okay.
Oh man, for some reason my headphones keep dying. I don't know why. You turn it off. Anyway, I love part 4. I had a little fun with it, and I just heard bad things about part 5, and I had bought it, and I just never got to it. So I actually don't even know what the difference is. You know, so I can't really compare.
Okay.
A lot more slower. The animations look a lot more, I would say, clean and not as cartoonish, because 4 is like very cartoonish, but it was
Yeah.
charming. And the Shoyus aren't like the Ryu, Ken, and Akuma aren't like top tier characters, but now with the buffs and everything, they're top. Some of them are top tier, some of them are just on life support. But yeah,
Okay. All right, so we're gonna move on now. The final part of the show is we're gonna do 20 questions again. Next week, I'm gonna try at least next week to try to do a different game. I'm trying to work on another Jeopardy thing because I think we had a lot of fun with that one. But it's just time consuming to come up with a lot of questions and the categories and points and shit like that. So that I'm kind of just taking my time with, but I'm gonna try to do that next week, hopefully. If not, I do have another idea. I think we're gonna still use the same buzzer, but just don't go crazy with the buzzers. This shit was fucking annoying.
I like pressing the button. That was fun.
Sorry.
But right now we'll just do 20 questions for now. So just guys start asking questions.
Wait. Can I actually take the reins for this? Because I was thinking of one.
The reins for the game. Well, I have the information here right now. You could do it next week or another week.
we can do it next week.
If you guys want to do that, because I don't mind joining in and playing, but like I just want to get my game out of the way.
Why can't you do it now?
I just want to get my game out of the way because I already did the work.
Danny already.
You could do yours next work. He did his work too.
I'm good.
I think we should vote on this.
You do know I'm the host, right?
Fuck that.
But we're also the co-host.
Exactly.
That means
Be a
all
boring
three
show
of
by
you.
yourself.
That means all 3 of you are my bitches right now.
So selectively, we're
Should
like
boycott
that
this show. Everybody cuts off.
Start asking the questions.
Is it a
Or go on
Was the
strike.
game-
Or go on strike. I can care less.
We don't get paid anyway. So. Was the game released before 2010?
Before 2010, yes.
Ew.
Was it released before 2005?
No.
All right, cool. So we got 5 through 10.
5 through 10?
No, 5 through 9 actually.
5 through 9. It could be 10, dude.
No, it was released
It's
before
before
2010, so it had to be 9.
Okay, I'm going to ask my obvious question. I was about to ask the color of their hair, and I was like, nah, that's
This again?
Let me see.
Is the main character a woman?
That's the question.
It can be.
So they're non-binary. Okay.
So what transvestite game are we playing? Okay.
That's not funny.
No, I'm thinking about a ghost. That's actually an interesting question.
So basically, we have the option to pick between male or female.
Female.
All right.
Yeah. So like create your own character type of thing, probably.
I was about to say if the character dead, but that's not a question. That's
Is it a first-person shooter?
No.
Okay.
is it an RPG?
Parts of it.
Makes sense. Huh, okay. We gotta fill in the gap for the listeners.
And I know sometimes I'm already anticipating like however many times we play this game. you'll ask some questions, and some things are kind of like in that gray area. So I kind of can't just give you a yes or no answer. So it is what it is.
Oh no,
That's fine.
that's fine. Hence
That's
the
fine.
like it can be a man or a woman.
Yeah.
There's either create a
Yeah.
character or like pick one.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Parts of it's an RPG.
It's not an FPS.
It's not an FPS. Man, you could be a
So
man.
I'm under the assumption it's probably not a platformer.
Is that a question?
No. It's an observation. I'm sorry.
Randy, you gotta observe in that brain and then ask the question.
Exactly.
He gonna start smoking us if we start asking out loud questions. Like, oh, that's a question? Yeah, that's smoke. Nah.
Said it can be an RPG, right?
No, it's not RPG. It's parts of it.
I said partly. Yeah.
Partly RPG.
Is it from a big publisher?
Yes.
All right.
They have to do with space.
Yes.
Do it space, big company, can be male or female.
Is it fucking massive? Never mind.
I'm thinking Mass Effect, though. Because you can't be a man or a woman in that game.
So keep in mind, if you guys are guessing, then if you get it wrong,
Yeah,
then-
that is basically like us like tossing the fucking
So be
towel
sure.
in.
All right, let me just ask the question. It's a character named Shepard.
Yes.
Is it
So
Mass
it's Mass
Effect?
Effect. Jesus Christ.
See how easy that was?
I don't know why, but
Y'all were scared to ask another question, and then Kevin just goes in for the 3-pointer.
He asked the right question without actually fucking throwing in the towel.
I remember that scene where it's like choose your race, and it's like he's gonna something like you're redoing your face or something like that. You're getting some kind of surgery, and you're like, she can also become a woman. Like that made no sense to me.
So how many questions was
That's
that?
how they established that. Like if he turns into a man or woman.
Yeah,
I don't remember that. At all.
yeah. It was in the beginning of the game where he's like being
Wait, are you talking about
I
two?
guess.
You mean 2? Like after he like dies or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, because in one
Yeah.
he starts off normal, and then like, well, they start off normal, and then fucking in 2 they die.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. I never played one. I never played one. I only played 2, and then part 3 was Andromeda, right?
No, part 3 was Mass Effect 3, and then 4 was Andromeda.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then I played 2 and 3 then. Never mind.
And
I did play 2 and 3. But yeah, I think it was part 2. Like they had like that counselor on you, or like they're because you died and you're being reconstructed or something.
Yeah.
And then you after you goes okay, and then you pick a character creation, and it's like pick man or woman. I'm like, wait, how are you recreating yourself as a woman? That doesn't make any sense. Or vice versa, either way.
Well, I mean, if you're starting it like new, I'm pretty sure you have like the option. Sorry, but I think that if like you have your saved character, you
Yeah.
could just like continue from
Yeah.
that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That transfer
because
Yeah,
basically like,
big
the whole
they do that.
trilogy. Yeah, the whole trilogy
Yeah,
is
they
like
do
based
that,
on what
yeah.
the fuck you do with every game.
Okay. So wait, I just want to ask a question. So like when you create your character, that's only in 2, right? So like whatever you do with your character in 2, or it's in like
You can still do it in 3
No,
as well.
yeah, no, because you could start your story from 1, 2, or 3. If you start from 1 and you want to continue from 1, then you could transfer over from 2 and then from 2 to
okay.
3.
That-
Or
that-
if you
that-
could you could start from 2 and then go into 3, or you could just do 3.
Correct me if I'm wrong too, but didn't either 2 or 3 you were also able to make choices as if you played the first one or second one?
Yeah, yes. Because
Yeah.
in 2 you have the option to kind of like fix your story. Because I remember, I didn't finish 1, and I started 2, and it was like it asks you to kind of like fill in the blanks for yourself. And I
Yeah.
made the wrong choice because okay, so there's Ashley and there's Caden from
Yeah.
1. I fucking hated Caden.
Me too.
Okay, dude, he fucking sucked. And when I made my character in 2, I fucked around and I made the wrong choice as to who to let live, and I ended up having Caden as a survivor as opposed to fucking Ashley, and I was livid. Because who, dude, have you played any of the Mass Effect games, Kevin?
No, I've never played it. It's
You will
it's on my
not
list.
want Caden in your fucking party at all, because you have the option to like send him on like a little suicide mission in 1, bro. Take that fucking choice. Take that choice. Send him out to that. Keep Ashley. Start your shit from 2 with 1, and never look back
So
on your
did
decision
they do
ever
that
again.
suicide mission? They do that suicide mission thing in all of them.
No, it's just the first one. Well, there
No,
was
no.
the first one for
'Cause it-
those 2 characters, but there were
Yeah.
other missions for other characters that might die.
I do remember-
Because for 1, it was you pick which one of those 2 lives, and then for 2, it's based on whether or not you have like your friendliness shit with them.
Yeah.
They either die or they don't. Because based on your relationship on how strong it is, they could either
Yeah.
survive or they
Yeah.
don't. They're essentially Pokemon.
Yeah. That's what it was. That's what
But
I remember.
didn't it
like,
also matter how
which
you
one-
upgraded your ship? Or was that?
Yeah,
3?
it was no. 2 was ship upgrades, and also like again, like if you did the character side story, then they would
Yeah.
like have like better armor, better gear, better shit like that.
Right.
And there was a
Yeah.
higher chance of survival because at that point it's like they did the anime shit where like friendship trumps all.
Yeah.
I took this critical shot to the head because of the power of friendship.
Based,
One of them was
Scott
like
earned the power of love.
you also had to. I don't remember if it was the last one, but well, not the last. I didn't play a genre. But the third one, where it's like you also had to choose the right person to also do the right thing, as well. Like you had to choose the girl to do the bubble around you properly in order to get the like for her to live and type of thing.
Okay,
Mm.
I definitely
to be entirely fair, I can't answer about 3 because on that one, like the ending was super disappointing. That like I intentionally blocked it out.
I like part. I think I like part 3.
Yeah, it was okay.
But the thing with part 3 is that
Well, I didn't. I only played part of part 2. So me playing part 3 was kind of like my introduction almost. So that's
Okay.
one reason I like it more.
Okay, so I just wanted to ask the question: How
Last-
many questions did we ask? How many questions did we ask?
7.
like 7. Hey,
Well, you said you asked the Shepherd one on the 8th, so if you want to count that one, I guess 8th.
Bro, can I tell you?
that's fine. That's still less than last week, no?
Yeah, you guys are getting better with it, but
Yo,
yeah, we'll finish it there with that. So for next week, community question, Kevin had asked a question. Do you remember what the question was? I wrote it down just in case.
Oh,
music from the game. That you can
Yeah,
listen
no,
to.
but ask it though.
No. That's what I was trying to remember the question. Go ahead, Danny. I forgot how because we
Yeah.
edited it because the question sounded dumb.
Yeah.
And it was
Oh yeah. That's
So-
right. That's right.
Basically, it's just like what video game soundtrack or song
Could
can
you
you listen to without
all
getting tired
day?
of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
day, every day.
So that is the question for next week: is what game soundtrack can you listen to all day? Franchise or game, doesn't matter. Just whatever you guys, whatever floats your boat. So aside from that, we'll end the show there. Anybody want to watch and watch older videos or keep track of just anything Drunken Guardian podcast, you can go to thedrunkenguardian.com for all of our links. Aside from that, you can also email us questions and stuff like that from the drunkenguardian@gmail.com. And that's pretty much it, because I'm trying to make it as easy and quick and user-friendly as possible by just putting everything on the Drunken Guardian website. So you guys could just search for that. For Boneless Bones, you're streaming as well?
Yeah, I stream on bonusbones_TV on twitch.tv. I swear, I hate saying this every time. And I have a YouTube. YouTube is Boneless Bones, no underscore TV, just Boneless Bones. We'll see you guys over there. Stay powerful.
Yep. And goodbye to Randy and Danny.
Peace.
Bye. Wait, hold on, sorry.
Bye.
Okay. And we'll see you guys next week.
Later,
See ya.
guys.
Have a good night or day.